I'm gonna talk about something real quickly. Oh, I forgot that guy's name. So, there's a concept, and I'm believing it. I realize the 5D, 6D, I realize they're all illusions, but we keep seeing illusions because what is Christ consciousness for real? Okay? You don't really get out of the illusion until you really get to the part of your real self, which is not the shadow. I mean, it's when you get to the part of your real self. Let me say that. You get to the part of your real self. When you release everything and get to the part of your real self that don't even look like a human being, more than likely. And this message isn't for everybody because everybody is come from somewhere, something different. Everybody come from something different. I come from something outside this complete construct, because in this construct, that's where you're getting all these dimensions and stuff. You know, but outside of the whole thing, everybody don't come from outside the whole thing, so that can't be for everybody. But yeah, it's all gonna be an illusion. It all depends on what you really want to see. But when you are on a higher, when you're going up a higher type of, ascending, I say, you're getting closer and closer to who you really are. Let me say that. Okay, even though it's all still an illusion. I'm going to get this guy's name. Hold on a second. Because this is 5D, but it's 5D minus. I'm not going to say where I'm going. Okay, I'm going to answer that later. I'm looking at my text messages. I'm just like, you know how you talk to someone on the phone, they got you on hold because they doing some other stuff, and they just got you like, okay, and I'm not here. Hello. But anyway, I want to look for this guy's name, so I'm looking through my other phone because I'm recording right now on my tablet, and I can't switch to try to look up his name. So I want to find his name, so I'm going to look it up real quick. Let me look it up because I want to say his name. And I am determined to say his name. Okay, hold on a second. What is his name? Anyway, he was the one I really heard talk about 5D plus, 5D minus. What some of us are witnessing, I'm not really witnessing anything anymore because I stopped looking at stuff. But what many are witnessing is what's called 5D minus. It's 5D minus, which means more evil. More evil. Okay. And the reason why I call it 5D minus because things are manifesting quickly. But when people were talking about 5D all this time years ago, is that his name? No. When people would talk about 5D years ago, and I kept seeing all these uploads about 5D, they never talked about 5D plus or minus. They just talk about 5D like it was something great. It depends on what side you're on. And it is still duality. You're going to either be on the plus or the minus. And what a lot of people we're really witnessing right now is the 5D minus. As things are speeding up. Thoughts are becoming things a lot quicker. That's why it seems like it's always, if you're a person, whatever would happen before, like you might have had problems 2 or 3 years ago, but now it seems like, or you might have had issues with people 2 or 3 years ago, but it seems like it might get worse and worse. It depends on, like I say, what's inside of you, right? It depends on what's inside of you. Okay, because everybody's not experiencing the same thing. It depends on what's inside of you. If it's a lot more positive stuff, you might be experiencing a lot of good things around you. But that's more 5D on the plus side, okay? That's more 5D on the plus side, and then others might be experiencing more 5D on the minus side. But it's still doing the same thing. Things are still manifesting a lot quicker. It's still doing the exact same things, but it depends on what's inside of you. I can't find this man, and I'm getting upset about it, so I'm going to... I know I have him. Anyway, hold on a second. Anyway, I want to say his name. But yeah, so I think what we are witnessing is a lot. Well, I'm gonna stop saying I'm witnessing because I'm not witnessing it. What we are seeing is a lot of 5D on the negative side. I did an upload earlier about whatever was in your shadow, depending on what was in your shadow, it's like doubled. It seems like it's doubled. It's super. It's super. It became super. Okay. And it depends if stuff's stored up in you that cause more heavyweight. Let's look at let's look at the scale, how they got about the how I talk about the vibrations and stuff. And how I think it's joy is like the highest vibration, and then you got happiness, and then you got love, which is kind of right there in the middle, and then you got gratitude, that's up there. Gratitude is up there, all that stuff. And then you got on the lower side, you got the anger, you got the hate, you got all that other stuff, right? And so you got to choose which kind of side you want to be on and what you want to experience, okay? So if a lot is stored up in you, even if you are a nice person, okay, this is what I don't realize. Even if you're a nice person, you want to be careful what's being stored in what you call your subconscious and being around certain, because I just saw his name. Hold on one second, you guys. I'm getting really upset that I can't find this man. And I look at so many of his videos. He has a lot of lectures. A lot of people has his lectures. He's like, I think he's German. And he was like a mentor to Hitler, but I hate to say that because it sounds like he was a bad guy. I don't think he was a bad guy. But, there's no way I can't find him. Let me see. Let me look at watch later. Let's see. I don't want to hold on too long, but I can't find him. And I looked at so many of his online on his lectures. People reading a lot of his lectures. He's like he was been around since maybe the early 1900s, late 1800s. Rudolf Steiner. I was determined to get that man's name. His name is Rudolf Steiner. Okay? A lot of lectures, a lot of occult type of lectures. He was a mentor to Hitler, but that don't mean he was a bad person. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I was going to say. So Rudolf Steiner, he was the one that I heard talk about that, and it was telling a kind of a story about that too. I believe I was, before the last I remember, I was probably on higher, above 5D plus. And you gotta be careful. You can get tricked. People can trick you. And I definitely saw where something happened where we probably was told something that sounded good, and it wasn't good for us, and we kind of got tricked into this type of lower type of stuff right here. Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, it was Rudolph Steiner, and yeah, it's 5D. People are experiencing 5D, but they experiencing the negative. I talked about this movie called The Evil Dead, even though I haven't seen the preview, and I have not seen the movie. It was a lady I was just talking to, and I saw that she just went to the movies to see The Evil Dead, and she said, yeah, it was scary. And that's another thing about the things speeding up fast. You definitely got to be careful what you're watching and what you're listening to, because if things are speeding up so fast, you know, there's a saying about that subconscious, that shadow or whatever. It just accepts everything as yes. It accepts everything as yes. So even though you might look at something that might not scare you, all of this stuff is stored up in the subconscious that accepting everything as a reality. And then everything is being sped up a lot quicker. That's what that 5D sound like it's all about. And so even if it's a bunch of negative, crazy stuff, even if it's about Jason, you're literally going to see in 5D plus, you might see Jason. You might see Batman. I saw last year, I saw Batman a lot. Because there was a lot of stuff going on in my subconscious from watching a lot of programs before. And I saw Batman, I saw all those mans. I saw a lot of stuff from the movies I used to look at. Okay? So I just cut everything off. Because that stuff, everything is an illusion. So just because we look at something on TV, oh, that's fake. Everything is fake. That's the thing. Okay? So we say it's fake because we see it on TV, but we're fake. Until you get to the real Christ consciousness, we're fake. Okay? So, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Batman ain't no more fake than, let me say, I'm going to say this in the nicest way. Batman ain't no more fake than we are. Because we are operating, what we see on our license is not a real person. It is an entity. It's not a real person. Our egos or whatever, the solar plexus part, that's out, the whole personality, and all, that's the false. That is a false soul. That's not the real you. It's a false soul. Okay, so Batman ain't no more fake than we are. It's not too far fetched to say you saw Batman, because Batman ain't no more fake than we are. We you know, especially when we really, really believe this is who we are and this is our world and this is it, that you know. Okay, so yeah, so and with everything being sped up and watching all this stuff and everything being sped up like that, on top of everything that's already stored into the shadow, even from other incarnations, okay, or other experiences, stuff stored up in from those two, okay, then it gets sped up even more, and it seems like depending on what kind of life you might have had, it could be pretty heavy, okay, and it could seem like the world is against you because everything is speeding up a lot quicker. Okay, everything's speeding up a lot quicker. That's 5D for you. That's 5D on the minus side. Even if you call yourself a nice person, which I call myself a nice person, but at the same time, it was a lot of stuff that was stored up in that shadow. It was a lot of stuff stored. You got to stay away from nasty ass people. Stay away from nasty ass people. Stay away from your mama if she evil. Definitely cut everything. Let me tell you something. Remove the umbilical cord if your mother is I'm going to talk a little nasty and a little graphic. If your mother is an evil bitch, remove the fucking umbilical cord. If your mother can't wake the hell up, Remove the umbilical. Remove all connection to everybody who ain't really on a path. If they not really getting it, I'm not blaming them. I'm not judging them. But you can't. You can't. You got to think about yourself now. That's it. You can't. Let them be who they are. I ain't judging them, but I know that this is an illusion. And listen. It ain't worth it. Cut ties with everybody. Just like literally, just cut ties with them. You can't be around them. You can't. That's like, I know that we might need things, and that's what I hate about this. That's what I hate about the ego. What if I need something? I don't want to cut ties with them, because what if I need that? That's the problem, and that's what I hate too. Okay. But yeah, you gotta like 6D minus. You go from 5D minus to 6D minus. It's going to be even more evil than 5D minus, probably. There are certain advanced entities. That's the thing about 5D minus. It's going to be more evil, but things might seem more advanced. I was like reading this little article where they were going to completely, in California, by the year 2030, I think 2030, something like that, they were going to completely stop the sales, ban the sales of gas cars and go completely electric. That doesn't mean that people who currently have gas cars can't drive them in the street, okay? But they are going to ban the sales of gas cars, gas powered cars. I think in California it was by 2030 or 2035, but in some states it's sooner than that. Okay? See, that might seem more advanced. Okay? So that's what I was saying. Things might look more advanced. Look at the iPhones. Look at all that stuff. Things might seem more advanced, but people, what you're going to see, are going to be more wicked, more evil. It's yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah, and that's just how it's gonna be. So it really is best to choose the side you want to be on until you get to that real you. It's going to be a lot of shaving off to get to that real you. So you do want to be a little lighter. And it's not worth it to be around your family, definitely your mother. I keep talking about the mother, especially because of you have a major connection to the mother. And if she evil, you don't want to be connected to her. Because as nice as you might be, a lot of stuff that stood up in your shadow that caused you a lot of problems came from her or your grandmother or even your father, whoever. But a lot of stuff come from that matriarchal part of the matriarch. Okay? And so you want to cut that off because they are the major reasons that shaped your reality, that caused a lot of stuff to go on in your life because they shaped your reality. And you try to be as nice as possible because you were told, a lot of us were told, that whatever you do, you get it back. If you nice things come to you. It's all, so they act like it's all about what you do for others. Absolutely not. If you were somebody who could have been molested, raped, or whatever, could have had a mother who was so evil towards you, and just constantly in a family where they just seem to point the finger at you and hate you. Even if you were never a bad person, they put a lot of negative stuff up in that. They help to create a lot of negative stuff in your reality. Okay? It's not a lot of stuff that was very negative that was in my shadow did not come from anything I did to somebody else. This came from the mother, this came from the brother. A lot of stuff they were into, a lot of practices they were into, a lot of things they were doing. Okay? Gotta just break away from these kind of people. You gotta break away from jealous people. People that always be jealous of you. Break away from them. Okay? But anyway, that's it, and I'll talk later.